Good morning. I've a lot I want to talk about today. I've a lot I want to say today, so we'll just see where this goes because I've about five different things I want to talk about. But the first thing I want to say is that the first thing Julius Caesar had to do was build an army. He had to raise an army. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm a general. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm raising an army. And I never do anything under a curtain. I'm doing it straight up, honest, total honesty about what I'm doing. Nothing sneaky, nothing. I don't do sneaky. I do everything face up. And because I don't fear the perceptions of others. I don't feel there's ever anything to be taken out of a box that can come back and bite me in the ass. There's nothing. I do nothing under a curtain, so I've nothing to fear. I've nothing to fear anything being uncovered. I've nothing to fear. I've nothing to fear that way. Like, I've already contemplated the consequences. I mitigate the consequences. I'll accept the consequences with equanimity. But I do nothing under a curtain. I might be a little bit esoteric in my descriptions, but if you think enough, you'll know exactly what I'm doing. Basically, you'll get the idea. But there's another thing I want to say as well. Like, there's a lot of people, the ambiguities of these videos go over their head. Like, there's a lot of people where it hits exactly the bullseye, it goes exactly where it's meant to go. Because in order to raise this army, it has to be done by ideological segregation. I have to find people that think like me. And the best way to find people that think like me is teach them how to think like me. And this is why I attack social norms. Like, for example, everywhere I walk is Rome. Do I attack Rome? Yes, all the time. Because Christian values, I very much against Christian values. I think they're a cause of much suffering, trauma, slavery. There's loads of reasons I attack Christian values. I attack Christian values as well as because it's an inversion of the hierarchies, philosophy over religion, I say. And that's one of my agendas, is philosophy over religion. Philosophy to supersede religion and psychology. Because it's more effective, it works. And it encourages individual thinking. You think for yourself, you think for yourself, you think for yourself. What I'm looking for people to do is rise up past sheep. Be a lion, be an eagle, be fucking a rhinoceros. Good thick skin. But don't be be a sheep if you want to be a sheep. But you'll get it. As Kant said, make yourself a worm and people will step on you. This can be a choice. Now, you have a nature, but you can change your values in relation to your nature. I got to tell you something. First of all, before I go into that, I want to deal with another thing. Some of these videos might cause people psychological problems. Because, I might say things that they might take a victim mentality. They might say, "Oh, he's a horrible bastard. He's this, he's that." I don't really give a fuck because, this is what you call what do you call it? Thinning out the ranks, getting rid of weeding out the wheat from the chaff. I don't want you. You're no good to me. Tune out. Because it's like the training. It's like the training of the body. If you don't come back the next day, you don't stay coming back. There's going to be no result out of you anyway. You're not good to me. So fuck on. Basically, fuck on. You're not worth a shite to me anyway. These videos aren't for you. But those who stay coming back, those who actually appreciate it, that I'm actually teaching philosophy and I'm giving you an opportunity to practice this philosophy, yes, then you will get great benefit from these videos. And maybe we can do something together with mutual benefit. Now, talking about working together with mutual benefit, my mind too, constantly, the way I got to this stage where I don't give much of a fuck about anything, is my soul constantly attacked my mind. Not only did it attack my mind, it urged me to do actions of which there was consequences. And I said to him, "Oh, I have your character now. You're not my friend." And which my soul replied, "I am your friend. I'm your best friend." And when I was writing this in my journal, that was in the jail. I was sitting in the jail and I said, oh, you're not my friend. Oh, you're not my friend. I have your character now. You're not my friend. And the soul said, "I am your friend. I'm your best friend." Because it was showing me that not only giving me the experience of being in jail, which was an invaluable experience to have, but it's and not one that a lot of people have because they fear it. But it's an experience. This was an experience. I remember getting a kicking at the party one night, and my eye bust open and blood coming out everywhere, and I was on half a tablet of acid, and I was there to say, "Oh, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?" And my voice goes, "This is an experience." And at this, once I changed my attitude that this is an experience, the kicks and blows were raining in from everywhere, and I just started laughing. And I just started laughing. I said, "This is an experience. This is an experience. This is a fucking experience, and a freeing experience. And it takes the fear out of this experience because you realise it doesn't hurt as much as you think it does. And then you no longer fear this. Now you'll mitigate this, but you no longer fear this. Not only do you not fear this, but you actually, like, I'm now watching, they're not self-defense videos, they're fighting videos, they're different fighting styles videos. It's Kevin Goat is your man's name. But I'm watching these videos because what I'm doing is, even though I'm not in physical condition, I'm learning these techniques and patterns, because the brain will register them all, and the brain will stay registering, So when I start doing the training, I start doing the yoga, and I start doing a little bit of Muay Thai, all these things are already downloaded in the brain. The information is there. It's like the philosophy. The information is there, and then you start to use it. As Marcus Aurelius said, that's enough reading how to be a good man, it's time to be one. And this is the same thing. You first of all get the knowledge, and then you apply the knowledge. But the knowledge will be all in here. I'll have the knowledge, and then it'll be a case of practicing the knowledge and applying the knowledge. But this is why I watch this. This is. So this is why I'm watching these fighting videos at the moment, because yes, I accept the kicking. I got a couple of kickings, and I got a kick at the sofa, I got a kick at the party, and I laugh at these things because this is an experience. But then I learn from this experience, and I say to myself, I'm going to have to make myself a little bit, if I'm going to carry on like this, I'm going to have to make myself a little bit more physically superior. But at the same point, it's like I'd like to eat a little better, and I'd like to go to the gym, but my circumstances don't allow for this at the moment, and I accept this, Now I could get down on the floor, and I could start doing push-ups and pull-ups and all that bollocks, but I call that fucking around. I've absolutely no interest in that, and that's a choice. I'd sooner just wait, do my videos, wait until the opportunity presents itself, and then I go to the gym and I train. But I just never interested in this home shit, this getting down. I'm not that anxious to force life that I have to get down there and do push-ups and sit-ups and all that. Why should I? I'm not that concerned. I'll wait till the opportunity presents itself, and I go to the gym, which I actually rather enjoy. I rather, this is a choice. Everything is choice. Yes, so basically anyway, yes, how does my mind come under attack? Well, I give an example how my mind comes under attack, because we have a perfect example of it. I would often give people advice in enterprises that might carry a certain amount of risk, if you know what I mean, that would involve a certain amount of risk, and which people like when they might be fearful of these risks. And this is how the current system keeps everybody in order and controls everybody with this fear. But you see, I'd say to myself, well, is it the right thing to do? And is it something I'd like to do? And do I think it's necessary? And do I think that that you have to challenge these things, and that they don't get to say what's right and what's wrong? I decide what's right and what's wrong, and I absolutely won't be stopped by fear. Now, Seneca then said, of course, my mind says to me then, Seneca said, be wary of anybody with urgent action in which they incur no risk. Now, that's grand. I won't incur any risk. I do give out this advice, and I don't incur any risk. But I will say about this, in which I replied, but I never ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do myself, or haven't done myself. But definitely, yes, or haven't done myself. I wouldn't ask anybody. I never have asked anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. And that's everything. That's everything. That applies to everything. That applies to when I was putting in the weights. If I was asking a chap to carry weights up the stairs, 22 flights of stairs, I carry the fucking weights 22 flights up the stairs. And if it's alright for me, it's alright for them. But But at times, it's something I've already done. I have this experience. I used to do this regularly with people to break their spirit. You know, when you get a young lad who's extra cocky and extra confident, I used to work the shit out. I used to give him all the shit work in order to break his spirit, and then he could start to learn. Because otherwise, well, it's like breaking a horse, isn't it? It's like breaking a horse. And my soul did the very same to me. It did the very same to me because, like, I'd be high-spirited, I'd be high-spirited. So my soul did the very same thing to me. Destruction and creation. Broke me down completely. To completely homeless, with nothing. Broke me down completely, and then a rebuild. And it's a rebuild. And this is nature. Destruction and creation. But when your soul does this and you actually understand nature, this is a rebuild. It's like I used to say when I was doing work, I used to say, I'm not touching anybody else's work. This is one of the ambiguities war. I used to say, I'm not touching anybody else's work. I'll fucking destroy it and I'll start again. But it'll be my work, but I'm not fixing that shite. But this is one of the ambiguities of war. You get a blank canvas in which to build anew. You don't have to build all this shit. You know what I mean? Anyway, yeah. So basically that's what I was saying, like about the consequence. No fucking time now. There's loads of things I wanted to say. But yeah, I wouldn't ask anybody to engage in any action that I wouldn't do myself. I finish with this. But it's for them. It's like when my soul used to say to me, sit down and eat a meal. I say, no. And the soul says to me, how can you expect to take the world if you can't even take your tea? And I said, that's a very good point. I will sit down and take the meal. And I did sit down and eat the meal until I got a couple of kickings. And then I said to myself, I'm not doing that again. I said, it's not worth that. I said, yeah, there's a consequence for every action. I said, well, sure, I fucking knew that. I knew that before I fucking ever sat down. You know what I mean? And so I says, yeah, but you have to take responsibility for your actions and you accept the consequences. Now, at the same time, I knew I wanted to talk about something else. One last thing about regrets. Do I regret sitting down for the meal? No, it was a great experience, and it was a laugh, and it was a story. I need contrast in life, and even these kickings, I laughed about them. Like the time I got the kicking in every kicking, I laughed about it, and I learned from it, but I laughed about it, and I got more resilient from it. Now, I want to talk about yesterday. Kane put this thing up about regrets, and I was going to say that we all have regrets, and I was going to say, oh, I have no regrets, and I said to myself, no, I won't say that, because every time I say that, somebody calls me a fucking psychopath. But I don't have any regrets, because never, even at the time when I was losing my lift business, I sat on a step and said to myself, do you regret all the money you squandered on drinking drugs? And I said to myself, absolutely not, because those memories are the one thing you can't take. And I remember the lads sitting down after the AA meetings and all the rest, drugs or this and drugs or that. And I said, drugs or what? I don't remember you saying that when you were out fucking partying, lashing out and having a great fucking time. When did this fucking turnaround come? That you're brought into a room and fucking brainwashed that the drugs are this and the drugs are that. It's not the drugs, it's the complete lack of self-control. But this is a choice. This is a choice. But if you choose to take the drugs, you choose to take the drink, don't blame the drugs and don't blame the drink. But you have to ask yourself what you're using them for. And if you're using them to alleviate your misery, ask yourself why the fuck you're miserable. What is the cause? What is the cause? And this is what I'm trying to do with these videos, is trying to change the way people see things, the way people think, the way people use everything. Your time, love, all your emotions, all emotions, how you use them, how you use people, how you use money, how you use your time, how you use your phone, how you use everything. Now, and I just want to say one last thing, because I said to myself, well, is there anything I do differently when I look back? But this is not a regret. Now, I'll give you an example of this, because it's been on my mind all day yesterday. When I owned my tanning shop, I had a choice to put in air conditioning, or I rang a couple of companies, and I remember I spent 2-3 days thinking about whether to put in air conditioning or to put in a fan, one fan blowing in and one fan blowing out, and a ventilation system which changed the air into place every 2 minutes, and would be substantially cheaper on electricity. But of course I wanted the fancy dancy. I said to myself, no, I'll go with the fancy dancy. I'd like some air conditioning, some posh air conditioning. I'd like a nice place. That was a fucking mistake. That was a mistake because the fan would have cost sweet fuck all to run and it would have changed the air in the place every 2 minutes and would have cost me a shitload less. A shitload less. Because heating and cooling air is expensive business. But that too is an experience and an invaluable one because there's so many things that I want to do in which I have now learned that it's much cheaper to change the air every 2 minutes. Much cheaper to change the air, and that is an experience which I learned from, and which it's not a mistake. Well, I don't consider it a mistake. Well, it was a mistake, but it's an experience I learned. I may go.